Hello everyone and welcome to Crusader Kings 3 Tours and Tournaments. With thanks to Paradox for giving me early access, I'm going to begin on a playthrough in order to try and become the world's most acclaimed tourney knight. Playing with all DLCs in version 1.9.0 Lance, we're going to be embarking on the quest of similar people in history such as William Marshall, the first Earl of Pembroke, or more so in fiction, Jason Mallister, head of House Mallister. Starting as a small child Babino, join me as we rise the ranks for fame, glory, renown, and maybe the odd tournament treasure if we can win some. Let's make a character. In this DLC, you'll find that the longer you play, the more things you'll unlock with the Tours and Tournaments DLC, so for that reason we're going to play in 1066 to have some of those things already unlocked. I think for this playthrough we're going to head over to old reliable England and we're going to be playing in Herefordshire. I think this will be a perfect place to start with our character. Ooh, okay, I'll spare you the details of making a character and I'll get back to you once I've made one. And I think that should do it. What we've got here is a pretty standard character, not too meta, not too crazy. They're basically going to be our great knight. I've already assigned their personality traits so we won't have to deal with that. And I've also made them beautiful because I feel like a knight of the land should be good looking. I've made them a journaler because this kid likes to do some doodling, and I've made them bossy to get them that extra edge on martial and stewardship. With all that being said, I think Harold Jorvik can begin. Oh, and one final thing we should cover just before we begin. If you head into game rules, you'll actually be able to see they've added some new stuff for you to work with. Specifically in regards to domain limit. In the game, they've actually made it so that the default domain limit is lower these days for various things, including stewardship nerfs and such. But if you want to have it slightly how it was before, you can just increase the domain limit, and as of this patch, it is Iron Man compatible. So you should be able to do as you want, like stick it on free. With that being said, now we can begin. So we are gathered here today to find out whether our little character here, Harold Jorvik, can match the likes of people like William Marshall or Jason Mallister to become some great tourney knights of their time and perhaps make a name for themselves despite being, just a kind of small little count. Beginning in 1066, we're probably going to have to deal with a certain Norman invasion by a certain bastard of Normandy who, considering he's a really decent strategist with some good traits, I'd kind of like him to be my teacher in this great conflict. He could teach me a thing or two, I think. Thank you. Oh look, he's wearing his coat of arms on his outfit. That's a new change. Nice. So one of the main reasons we're starting as a kid for this playthrough is to check out the new Regency system, which you can find under this new tab if you have a power sharing Regency right here. Currently, we're sharing power with our much older Reeve Eardwulf of Kidderminster, who unfortunately for us is self-interested. He's arbitrary, but he's also greedy, meaning he's likely to steal gold from us. As he continues to stay in power, he'll have options to increase his level of power all the way up to level 6, at which point he could overthrow us. So once we reach 8 years old, we're going to have to swing the scales of power back down to 1 so we can eventually get rid of him once we come of age. The alternative is we also try to get rid of him in favour of someone like Reeve Leofweld, who is currently selfless and therefore would be a decent regent who wouldn't try to screw me over. In general, this is kind of geared towards making the game seem more realistic historically, while also slightly increasing the difficulty, and I think it's a good change. In truth, there's not too much you can do when you're a kid, is there? I suppose we could build some buildings. We could also work on fabricating claims across Mercia, although I guess it would be the regent doing this, and not necessarily us. Regent unsuccessfully furthers their mandate. My man is trying to gain some power. Be warned. Since the gameplay of children is still somewhat limiting, I spent the rest of my time exploring the new Meet Peers system, which comes with its own activity screen that you can basically see on screen right now. I really like the little horse figure it has at the top, and the fact that you can see all the characters on the screen. We use this as our opportunity to gain more prowess for all those upcoming tournaments. Thank you, random 5-year-old, I appreciated the stay. Surely my regent didn't get into any major wars while I was... Oh. He did. I don't believe it. Somebody came. A human being actually came to my meat piers. I never thought I'd live to see the day. My goodness, we've got some trees to climb, my friend. Learning from some knights? More prowess? Yes, thank you. And with that coming of age, we have reached the glorious age of 16, and from it become a brilliant strategist, the 4th tier of education, the very best we can. Oh wait, what's this underneath? War declared. Ah. Well, we appear to have found ourselves in quite the predicament. I think if we're lucky, we can take out this army pretty early on. But we should probably find ourselves an alliance that we certainly won't cancel to help us out if things go south. Princess Jutta will do, and we can get rid of her once we're done. Oh, we did catch them, and this battle will probably work to our advantage. Unless, of course, we get wounded. Okay, the allies are on their way, so let's just make sure they come before we do anything too rash. Okay, collectively, we've got more than 1,000 men over them. Surely this works to our advantage. Oh, we only caught 1 stack. Fair enough, I guess we'll go after Shropshire. I think after sieging down Cheshire, oh yes, this is quite one indeed. Okay, good, we managed to survive that onslaught. I think now we can make sure we don't have to marry that random child we found ourselves connected to, and we can also deal with another issue. When you come of age, you will still be in a entrenched regency, so you will actually have to spend the time to end it specifically. There's a 74% chance it happens if we give him nothing, but I'm just going to offer him some piety to ensure that this is going to end. And with that, our regency has ended. So I don't know about you, but I have kind of noticed that Europe is lacking grand tournaments. Then none are happening at all. So it looks like it will be down to us to start the very first one. Unfortunately, we are really, really poor. So in order to make one, it's probably going to be a very short one and not very interesting. The travel doesn't matter too much because it's just going to be in the county over. But we do have our activity options that we need to decide. For this one, I'm going to lower the accommodations because I can't really afford that, but go all in on prizes. We're here for the big prizes because we intend to win. With that, we can start the grand tournament. So I think this is the main fanfare presentation that comes with the tours and tournaments, which is this zoomed in look at the actual tournament area, the village, the temple, the tavern, and most importantly in this case, the tourney grounds and the artisan quarters, which are to my mind are the most powerful. It's also here that you might want to select your intent, which is something you find with all activities. There's quite a lot to do in the tournament. You can even recruit knights or, make friends, all the good stuff, but we're here for triumph. We're here to win. The main thing we're here to do is the duel, so that's why we've set it up first, because we really want to hope to do that. And then archery, maybe we can win that afterwards. So after some days, all of the things will open. Oh my goodness. The King William the Conqueror came. Oh goodness me. I think for starters, I'm going to head to the artisan quarters and see if we can get something nice. Oh, here we have the option to increase our prowess by 2 or 1, but maybe get wounded. We got wounded. Terrible. Let's try a look at the tourney grounds instead, perhaps. Ah, we find somebody who maybe wants to come work for us once all this is said and done. A prowess and intrigue challenge at 78%. He decided he's going to join us. A bit intimidated in that regard. Meanwhile, at the tailor's, we have the option to buy a sheep tapestry. Now, we can buy a sheep tapestry because there's actually a funny interaction we can do with it. If you go to your inventory and find yourself with artifacts that you no longer have need of, we paid 15 gold for this sheep tapestry, but we can now destroy it for 80 gold. So thanks to destroying artifacts as a new mechanic, that sheep tapestry has put us back in good money. Oh, we also have a perk. We should probably get a stalwart leader, considering we're going into a tournament. Okay, I think that's about as good as it's going to get. The duel begins. I think we'll bet on ourselves. There's nothing wrong with placing a cheeky bet here. So dueling doesn't actually take the traditional combat screen that we used to have and is more so in this huge mega menu with kind of mixed combined challenges you have to do, such as this one for intrigue and prowess. It's a 50-50, so let's give it a go. Ooh, we did it. After that, we have to decide whether we want to combine things up for some extra skill, or the bottom option just lets you go for prowess, which is exactly my kind of thing. We even get this nice animation after it's done. Wait, we lost? We lost? I'm sorry, but for many reasons, I don't think I have it in my heart to lose to a guy called Count Adolf. It goes without saying, this man cheated. Okay, next up we've got Prince Robert the Old. Okay, this man is old. It should be an easy win, right? Let's make an 86% chance for prowess. 73%? Okay, that's a win. That has to be a good win. Victory. And it all comes down to this, the finals. Count Guy II, the Honest. Okay, let's see if we can beat him. After that, 73% chance to increase the score. I mean, the coin toss is in our favour, right? I don't believe it, we lost again. Should we just say he cheated? My goodness. I feel like we were going less of the honourable knight and more so down the path of maybe a much more questionable knight. You know what? Screw it. It's my tournament. Get him out of here. I won! Wow. What a surprise. Who saw that one coming? In between each tournament, you have the opportunity to return to the different places if you want to, which is just a nice thing to pass the time in between the events. Let's see if we can win archery without having to resort to some questionable methods. Oh, 100% chance. Okay, maybe this is going to work a lot better in our favour. I think I'll skip through most of the events of this, but in the most straightforward fashion, basically all of the tournaments follow this set of having to pick between the decisions to try and come out on top. Oh, we won! We actually won for once. And I didn't cheat. This was an honest, fair battle. I even gained 80 gold for doing so. So with that, this is the conclusio. Is that supposed to say conclusion? It says conclusio. Well, what a great occasion it was all the same. We got 2 prize rings, 800 renown, but I guess we'll see that all in the roundup screen. There it is, the conclusion. Lots of prestige, and I get 2 prize rings. Let's go have a look at them. So, what have we got here? Prize ring number 1, men-at-arms maintenance down, 2 more knights. Okay, that's a really good ring. And as for the second one, some prestige, courtier and guest opinion, romance scheme power. Not as good, but still pretty good all the same. Of course, it will always remain questionable just how we came into possession of such things. But I won't say anything if you won't. While waiting to see if we can find ourselves in any more tournaments that we can win more legit, I think we should improve our skills by going on things like hunts. So hunts, much like every activity in the game, has been reworked, and I think hunts have seen the biggest rework. Maybe pilgrimages come second, but hunts I think are really good now. You get to choose between 3. I am yet to do a legendary hunt. I have literally never seen one. Falconry seems to help with things like stewardship and some other things, but hunt is the main one. Picking a location is actually really good because they've really thought about the areas in your domain, and the baronies that don't have anything in them, no holdings, are actually the best ones. This one has a forest too, so really good. Make sure to deal with your activity options before you begin, and we can change our intent to slay beast because we want this to go successfully. We're not just here for a lark, we're here for a pelt. As we arrive at the camp, and by the way, what a great looking camp, the background art for these activity scenes are so good, we realise that we don't have a Master of the Hunt. So I think previously Master of the Hunts were only available to Kingdom and Empire titles, but now anybody can have a Master of the Hunt because hunting is such a big part of the game. It seems that Ildibrando is the best candidate. He does have Traveller and some really good stewardship, so maybe he knows best. The reason a Master of the Hunt is so important is because you can quite visibly see the outcome of this hunt. It's no longer an abstract variable. You actually have to balance the outcome with a success chance. On top of that, you also get the choice of what you actually want to go hunt. In this case, we have a wolf, a hare, or a stag. I think let's start out with what it's offering us, and that's going to be a wolf. 69% is by no way a certainty that we're going to get this wolf, and it very well could actually kill us, so let's be very cautious on this one. 74%, okay. 80. Cornering the wolf. We found the wolf, and now you have the option of what you want to do. You can shoot it, which is a certainty, that's just you get it, or if you're feeling brave, you can go in with your spear and try and take it down. But in this case, there's a 15% chance it takes me down. So do I click the button? I think I'm just gonna take this down from a distance on this one. I'm already wounded. Let's not push my luck. And the final, also absolutely fantastic aspect of hunts is if you succeed in your hunt and get an animal, you actually get to keep a trinket from your hunt. So it's basically like going out in games and farming animals and taking back their loot. It's so good. In the end, we get our wonderful conclusionary screen where we see how well we did, and then we go home. Now I get to decide whether I want to keep my wolf fangs or whether I want to destroy them for 80 gold. And as much as I like my wolf fangs, I can't deny 80 gold is a good amount of money. We can use it to fund getting a new artifact, maybe a new sword. I hadn't actually noticed because I've been so busy dealing with my activities, but our main liege has become a pretty big dude. He basically owns the majority of England. I feel like he could overthrow soon. I have spotted a grand tournament happening in the Holy Roman Empire, but unfortunately it was just too far away for me to reach it. Now that is unfortunate. And it's going to be a long time before we can actually host another one. But when we do, we should make sure we have all the buildings we need, because they have actually added new buildings and updated what buildings give you, like the blacksmiths, which give you new buffs including holding taxes, but also reduce costs for hosting grand tournament duels by 50%. Now that's really good. So finding some free time at the age of 20, we can take a look at some of the skills. From going for the hunter activity, we always now get the hunter lifestyle trait. What we have to do is level it, and because we had a successful hunt, we actually gained a decent amount of headway into the Venator trait path. It also immediately gives us 1 prowess just for having it, so you can't go wrong with that. The same is true of Hasteluder, which is what you get from going to tournaments, which also gives us 1 prowess, but I think that comes from just winning on the foot grounds. We're almost there on the bow too, which gives us a health bonus. The Jorvik sword, 4 prowess. Hey, every little helps. I'll take it. Hunts have actually been reduced to happen every 2 years. I think previously they were like 5 years maybe. So you can pretty often go on hunts now if this is the kind of playstyle you want to adopt. Maybe one reason grand tournaments aren't happening is because France is exploding. I guess that could be a part of it. It may seem that activities and travelling has basically become the forefront of the game, and it certainly has become a large part, but don't let that stop you from doing the things that you were always doing before, such as declaring war. I mean, we are called Harold Jorvik. We should probably go get Jorvik. Easy peasy. Wait, in a sudden twist, we're actually being invited to somebody else's hunt. This is kind of a thing that can happen where you get the invites instead. I think because I'm a count, I'm not too popular, but the higher your rank, the higher the likelihood you might have access to something like this. And you know what? I will go. Surely this hunt will go well. Let's just make sure we stick it on slay beasts so we don't look like a fool. Ooh, he shot the bow. Good shot. He took down a stag, I think. He did indeed, and he takes the antlers home. Well done to him. It seems like after our embarrassing grand tournament where we definitely didn't cheat, people are starting to forget about it, and we are now getting invited back to things, which is good because I'm solidifying my control over the north. So while consolidating our realm, I feel like it's time to talk about 2 of the other major features which I think I'll cover in this video before we start to wrap things up and try and get another tournament win. The first one being grand weddings. Perhaps you want to make sure that England, which is looking pretty strong right now, becomes your ally, and I think I see who the next King of England will be. Well, he does have a sister at the age of 5, who maybe marrying would work to our advantage. Unfortunately, they're not feeling that right now, but you can promise a grand wedding and in doing so, that might tip the balance of favour, meaning you can actually marry him. In this case, that's exactly what we're going to do. So weirdly, we're now allied with the King of England. Decent. The other option we have available is if we look for our knights, we have accolades available. 5 of them in total, but only 1 of them that we can use. And I have noticed that Osric has been basically our main man, the caravan master. He's got us everywhere we needed to be, joined us on hunts. He's a pretty decent guy. So if we want, we could make him an accolade, which would give him some special buffs that he gives us, as well as he can participate in, relevant to his character. You actually get to choose them as well, depending on his personal traits. So I think because he's got the hunter trait, you can give him the huntsman, which if we hover over it will have its own ranks that give us buffs. In this case, hunter trait experience gain. In this instance, I'm going to give him tactician, because I think that getting a monthly martial lifestyle experience is just too good to pass up. In addition, he also has contender, which gives us Hasteluda trait experience, which is good for our tournaments. With that, he has been created, and he's called the Master at Arms of the North Riding, but you can rename this if you want to call him something like... I'm sure his legacy will be great. You've got to be kidding me, there's a grand tournament happening in Iceland, and quite literally nobody can get there in time. Why on earth is it happening over there? I find myself working down the martial lifestyle tree as I'm slowly getting older. I see the face starting to mould, but I've noticed that Organised March in the Strategist has actually had a rework, as have multiple different parts of the skill trees, but this one gives you plus 25% travel speed, which doesn't sound relevant, but considering all of these grand tournaments are so far away and we're struggling to get to them, I think it could help. At least if we're not getting grand tournaments, we are at least leveling up our hunter trait, because hunts are every 2 years, and we've managed to get it to the point now where prowess is plus 4, and yeah, we got all the way to level 2 just by doing hunts and joining other people's hunts. Maybe we should start on Falconer for some stewardship, learning and prestige. It seems after waiting and waiting for some grand tournaments that weren't in Spain, the Holy Roman Empire, or in Iceland of all places, we've reached the age of 30, meaning we can now host another grand tournament, and I think that is exactly what we're going to do. We shall return to Old Faithful of Gloucester, and I say this time, let's just go all out. Let's have everything. Let's have melees, let's have archery, let's have a horse race, and of course we have to end with a duel. I think I'm just going to sit on this screen for a little bit, just so we can host the ultimate tournament. I don't want a repeat of what happened last time. In terms of Dynasty Legacies, which just popped up as I was planning my grand tournament, they've actually added in a new Dynasty Legacy to do exclusively with activities. And considering we do have a grand wedding planned in the not too distant future, I think I will pick up traditional Jorvik weddings. Okay, we have arrived at the tournament. Let's slow the game speed down and prepare, because this is quite a stacked tournament. Oh my goodness, look how big it is. Oh, this is a serious tournament. Alright, fair enough. A weaponsmith can maybe get our prowess up, which would be really good. Oh goodness me, we're straight in. Okay, the melee. So this is going to be kind of simulating a war, and I think it has team-based events, and oh goodness me, yeah, we're taking the bottom one. Prowess and martial is all we have going for us. 56%, it's kind of likely, but it's anybody's guess really. I can't tell if we won or not. One more push? Oh, I don't think we did win, but we did have some knights for our knights who were winning, so not all bad in the end. Talking to the blacksmith, he's looking at my sword and he says he can make it deadlier, giving it plus 8 prowess. Well, that's basically just ridiculous, so yes, I'll be taking that. My entire life has led up for these moments. I refuse to be stopped now. Moving on to archery. I'm only valued at 17% chance to win. I do not see me winning this in a million years. I think I'm just here for the duel. I cannot believe I won. Well, that is ridiculous. At least I'm going to get a prize at the end of this. I guess I'm more of an archer than a swordsman. Okay, next up is the horse race, and I just managed to qualify. I have very little hope in myself, but I'm favoured to win, so I guess we'll find out. Is that a bishop riding a horse? Did nobody tell him to take his outfit off? By the way, I think that the horse animation was a funny thing to add in. Oh my goodness, 60%. Wait, can we win? 34% increase, please? I have no idea. Did we win? Oh, that is a good win for us. A fantastic win. And because we did a 25 wager on our horse, we gained 225 gold in payout. Oh my goodness, this really worked out well for us. And lastly, it all comes down to the duel. That's where it's just up to us, and only us, to win this. The duel begins, and oh my god, it's Adolf. He's back. I do not believe it. You cannot make up this. You cannot make this up. This is ridiculous. This dude is like my arch nemesis. Okay, I'm beating him. I'm 100% beating him. 56%. Okay. Pure prowess. We have all the advantage. No shot. He beat me, didn't he? This man. This murderer. Something has to be done. Also, he cheated. I can't believe him. He came back. Okay, one more fight. Just one. One small fight. And then it's won. GG. I cannot believe I had to cheat for that Adolf guy again. It's funny how all the terrible things are the result of somebody called Adolf, isn't it? Well, that was a fantastic grand tournament. Those are the conclusionary stats, and we got lots of treasure, which we can take a look at. You even get a nice thing at the top of the screen to tell you you've got some legendary treasure too. So we got a prize brooch, which gives us some domain tax and knight effectiveness, another prize ring, which is very similar to the other prize ring we had, and one that gives us domain taxes, and more knights. How many knights are we actually standing at? 14. That's pretty good. With that, I think it's time to wrap up this video with two things. One of them involves putting an end to this individual, and after that, I think it's time to settle down and marry. This has gone on too long. I can't face Adolf again. He figured out I was going to murder him. You've got to be kidding me. Well, don't worry. I have another out for this kind of situation. Excommunication. Now lots of people want to get rid of him. So I just won a tournament in England. I didn't say it because I honestly didn't think there would be any more to show. But in it, I actually got lots of loot. And one of the things I got was a brooch that just so happens to give me one domain limit. Well, isn't that just ridiculous? So you can actually stack domain limit from going to tournaments. I mean, if that isn't insanely powerful, I don't know what is. I mean, if this is just so good, isn't it? So finally, with a notification at the top of the screen, we can now do a grand wedding, cementing ourselves with the Kingdom of England, even though we're still a petty count that nobody really cares about. And we have all of the traditional setting up that we have to do, except this time we have to do good entertainment. We need really good food and drinks, and we need a fantastic wedding venue. The wedding ceremony has begun, and here I am. Look at us wearing our floral crowns. I can't wait. So it follows much like you would expect many of the other events to follow, with lots of events for you to go through, including the procession, the conversations, and the after party. Currently we're going through the wedding ceremony. Oh, and she becomes my soulmate. I guess it was truly meant to be. The music plays as I am asked, do I want to spend the rest of my life with Emma? At this point, you could say I don't, and honestly I'm tempted to see what the consequences would be, but considering you get an insane amount of renown for saying I do, I think I'm going to say I do. With that, the banquet begins, which is the middle stage of the wedding, before the night stage. basically, I think we're all just getting drunk at this point. Oh, yep, she's on the wine. I've also become friends with King Robert, so basically everything's going to plan. I find that during the feast stage is the opportunity for you to get lots of random experience, such as intrigue with friendships or martial in this case. King Robert is having a boozer over here, goodness me. Uh-oh, and now it's time for the wedding ceremony. The legitimacy of the wedding depends on it being consummated. Okay, good luck everyone. So she is feeling a little bit anxious about losing her virginity in front of everybody. So I think I'm going to tell everybody to clear off and give her some respect. My wife is flattered. I lay with Princess Emma. Success. I mean, if that isn't a wedding consummated, I don't know what is. The conclusion. Thank you all for coming. So for it, we marry her. 1,200 prestige. A magnificent host. Goodness me, we did really well here. For some reason, we gained gold, maybe from like gifts. And we celebrated a magnificent wedding. Good stuff. The wonderful conclusion screen at the end. And with that, I think I'm done. This video could go on forever showing off new features because there's plenty that I haven't shown. We didn't do a pilgrimage, we didn't do a feast, we didn't do a grand tour. But to actually show off all the things properly, it would take so much time. And I kind of just wanted to focus on a good looking chap, trying his best in tournaments and not getting destroyed by a guy called Adolf. I'm not sure how well he did, but I think he tried his best. So with that, oh god, I was going to end, but look at Hungary. Oh, that's some border gore. Okay, let's ignore that. So with that, I'll say thank you very much for watching. I hope this was able to show you some of the new features you can do in the CK3 DLC. I think it's shaped up to like a really good one, adding on the pre-existing base with even more, and allowing you to play things that don't always have to involve just rapid expansion, but staying at home, becoming a tourney knight, becoming a hunter, or maybe doing some of the other activities they have available. If you liked, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Look at this man. Look at him. He literally didn't win a single duel without having to stop Adolf. What happened? Why did it go so poorly? Oh my goodness. Bye.